PulseChain has been dismissed by the judge. This is like you're like I made them understand that this is a different level to just regular just getting dropped. They were actually like, wow, that's pretty impressive considering like nobody in the crypto space, like no company has had their case dismissed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure PulseChain is the first one, right? So I'm having this conversation with them. I didn't even mention the red notice or Interpol, and I'm like, look, considering we now have had the case dismissed. And every single exchange, well, there was only you and OKX, really. Like out of like, I think there's another shitty exchange, but they're irrelevant. But OKX and Mexi were the only ones really that had PulseChain listed that were actually like a reasonable sized exchange. So I basically said to them, look, if you relist PulseChain, it's a win-win, not just for us, but for you. You'd have first mover advantage, obviously, you'd be the only exchange right now. And I made it clear, I was like, I'm just telling you right now, we're in conversations with other exchanges. We're going to get listed on other exchanges. It's just a matter of time. So you're going to have a big advantage and you're going to have thousands of cult members that are tweeting and posting and talking about Mexi. You're going to market your like you couldn't pay enough to get that kind of marketing, like that sort of marketing from the community. Like you're going to get that for free by default. Like let's just relist. Like we don't, but I said to them, I said we are not even considering paying anything to you guys, nothing, zilch. But I understand like the liquidity issue, right? So where's the liquidity? Because the account's empty, you're telling me. Well, I want to know like who had control, who had access to that account. And they told me, they were like, well, it was you guys. You guys are the only one that have access to the account. Now, I just want to make something clear because people might think, well, maybe Mexi took it. Maybe Mexi took the money out of the account. Mexi, just so you guys understand, they're not some shitty little exchange. They do more volume than some of the tier one exchanges. They're doing more volume right now than Kraken, which is a tier one exchange, and Mexi is a tier two exchange. Why is Mexi a tier two exchange? They don't have the same regulatory aspects as like Coinbase and Binance and Kraken. Those guys have jumped through hoops of the government's regulators to get to where they're at. They've got their fiat on and off ramps. They've got banking. So that's what makes those exchanges tier one. Tier two exchanges don't have that. So Mexi, even though it's a tier two exchange, is top of the pops. Like you're talking like $5 billion a day volume. And just to understand how much money they're making, last year, so 2024, they made $750 million in revenue. So why would an exchange that makes that much money risk their reputation to steal 40 grand? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't believe that is the case. And because like if we really wanted to, we could hire a sleuth, we could hire someone like Zach XBT to do some chain analysis and figure out where those funds went. So it'd be stupid of an exchange like Mexi to take 40k out the liquidity pool and pretend like nothing happened. So I've got a lot of people trying to tell me, oh, maybe Mexi took it. I don't believe that to be the case. Can I prove that? Am I 100% on that? No, of course not. I can't prove it. But I don't believe, in my personal opinion, Mexi would do something as ridiculous as that. Now, the other thing that people are bringing to my attention, which again, like I can tell you this from experience, that market makers, because like the other thing someone is telling me is like, well, what if the market makers took it? Now, market makers don't have full access when they have access to the trading account, so they can set up their bots, populate the order books and whatnot. But they do not have permission to deposit or withdraw. So when you give a market maker access to your account, you have to give them permissions, and it's like spot trading, futures trading, deposit and withdrawal. You got to tick those boxes, right? Obviously, we didn't have futures trading, so the only box that should have been ticked was spot trading. Now, did the foundation guys, accidentally tick deposit and withdrawal? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I can't prove or disprove that. But that's the only way the market makers could have taken those funds out. They can't just withdraw funds from the account. They would have to have been given permission to by us or on the PulseChain side. So where the liquidity, guys? Where is the liquidity? Because there is Just so to understand why this is important, like it's not just like, oh well, where is it, who took it? Without it, we ain't getting relisted. Like we can't be relisted and have no liquidity in the order books. Like it just doesn't work. So like, where did the lick go? Exactly, trade bra, where did the lick go, bro?
Now, one thing I just wanted to say is that, we should all be thankful that we beat the SEC case, and hopefully they don't reopen it. But it looks like the odds are in our favor that we won't. So just remember the fact that we dealt with this thing for well over a year and a half, and we got a step in the right direction. So it's something to be thankful for and excited about. And secondly, going forward with the case situation, aside from MEXC, would exchanges such as Kraken and Coinbase give us the same dilemma?
And also, you got to like, how much of the volume on Pulsechain is real? And what I mean by that is how much of it is wash trading and how much of it is real trading.
I was thinking of myself. How much do you think? How much do you think?
I have no idea. Like I honestly, like I have no idea. Like you're asking me how much I think is real volume and how much is wash.
Yeah, I was assuming that because it's in the state that it's in, it technically would be like natural players in the system, or maybe I'm just getting ahead of hyping up hope for myself, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Hart has got a bunch of bots set up that
Oh,
are
I would say.
buying,
Yeah,
selling, bridging in, bridging out, doing all of that, right? And I think
yeah,
exchanges would also figure that out as well. They would track the wallets and be like, okay, this is one entity that's doing all of this, so we can calculate probably the average volume is this. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think a tier one exchange has to be incentivized to want to list a project, and then also they're going to ask for liquidity. Who are they going to ask?
yeah.
Right?
Richard Honda, but where is he?
Well, yeah. I mean, technically, he's it's not. Pulsechain isn't a company. It is a. Yes, he's the founder, but even if they found a way to contact him, I don't think that he's gonna. I mean, he might if Binance, if CZ contacts him and says, "Bro, give us 100K lick and we'll list you." Maybe he'll do it, but
Yeah, yeah. Good point. Good point. So, I mean, ultimately, to get on these big exchanges, they have to know that there's demand, so they can make money off that traffic flowing in. It's pretty simple as that, I would assume.
well, I mean, I think Hexologist recently applied for, was it Binance? It was one.
Yeah, Binance.
Yeah, it was Binance, and one of the require like he filled out the questionnaire, the list of the forms that he needed to fill out, but they needed a signature of an executive at the exchange or of the project, and
Yeah.
there is no executive, there is no CEO. I mean, if I was Hexologist, I would have just signed it myself and just just pretended I'd done a squiggle or an R and a H and sent it in and just
That's putting yourself at risk,
wish
man.
for the best.
It's all right, Panos. We'll ask ID Block for his exclusive signature in this foundation.
um, so yeah, so like I think that is a requirement for Binance anyway. That there has to be someone at the company has to sign off, and like Richard Hart ain't doing that. And I think Hexologist added Bretep, the dev, and he kind of
Yeah.
just said the same thing. Is like this is a decentralized organization or whatever. So I don't know, man. I think we're like it's good to aim high, and I do think we will get a tier one exchange listing, but I think that will be when there is more trading volume. And bro, I don't think Richard Hart is just sitting there twiddling his thumbs or just like laying on the beach. He's cooking some shit up. And like, again, like this is just me making assumptions here, but he never told anyone about pump tires. He just launched it, right? No one expected it. He just one day just posted something about pump tires, and voila, we have a degen pump fun fork on Pulsechain. I mean, there was already a few of them already, but and I think Richard Hart kind of like looked at. He's like, hold on a minute, we've got 2, 3 other people that are doing this. I'm going to do it, but better, because I'm going to do it so it burns PLS and blah blah blah. So he just went and done his thing. Now, again, this is complete speculation what I'm about to say, but he does sometimes leave little clues. He will say something or he'll post something, and like you're like, why the fuck did he post that? Like he posted something about privacy, right? He posted a video of some woman getting robbed for her Bitcoin because she bought something online and someone tracked the wallet and could see how much BTC she had, and armed robbers went to her place and tried to rob her. So he posted that video and he was like making a point about blockchain should be private or there should be privacy on blockchains. So like was that him hinting that he's going to do a like tornado cash style or some kind of privacy protocol on Pulsechain? Like maybe that would be pretty huge, especially if other people that have money on other chains are like, hold on, if I can pay anonymously, but I have to bridge to Pulsechain to do that, maybe I'll bridge over. So maybe he's cooking up something like that. He's talking about exchange, centralized exchanges. What if he launches a centralized exchange? It's not out of the realm of possibility that Richard Hart could launch a centralized exchange. He doesn't have to have banking. It doesn't have to be a Coinbase or Binance where you have a bank banking and licenses for banking. You could just be in it. He could just be like, look, guys, you want to swap your Ethereum or Solana or this easily? I will put up some liquidity. I've got all that Ethereum. I'll put up some liquidity onto this exchange. You can come and swap here instead of using the bridge. And he could make a exchange as a somewhat centralized exchange, which would make it much easier to onboard, right? So I think there's a lot he's cooking up in the background that could happen, that could get us listed on other exchanges, because it could drive a lot of volume into the chain. But right now, that's what we need. We need volume. Like, we just beat the SEC case, but where the is the volume, bro? Where, like, how much money has been bridged in since? Not much. Like, not much at all. The day it happened, Richard Hart himself bought 600k worth of PLSX, right, from one of his wallets. And then obviously money was getting bridged in because the bridge was clogged. Now, I don't know how many millions was bridged in, but like, hasn't really taken off yet. Now, is that because we've got to wait another 6 days until we're technically in the clear? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious the SEC aren't going to appeal this, but we've still got another 5-6 days until we're in the clear. Is that what people are waiting for? And it doesn't help that Ethereum is getting battered and the rest of the crypto market is getting battered as well. So volume is going to pick up. I think we need Ethereum to tick up. We need the rest of the market to tick up. We're kind of in this like bearish like downtrend at the moment, and it's like quite uncertain. Like Trump is like, I think he's purposely doing this to manipulate the markets because
100%.
yeah, like one day
He's got to refinance the debt, right?
Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, I think he's got to refinance his debt in the next 6 months, I believe. Which is coming up. I know a lot that's been going on, going around a lot online.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Ethereum's being suppressed. Like, I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I really think Ethereum's being suppressed. I think all the markets right now, I think Trump's playing games with the stock market and the crypto market with these tariffs, because he bounces like from one day to another. He's like, I'm doing these tariffs, and then he take them off, and then he's slapping them back on, and the market's just going up and down and up and down and up and down. And then if you follow the money, it's like when we have these down days, look at World Liberty Finance's wallet. They're buying more Bitcoin. They're buying more Ethereum. Look at BlackRock's wallet. They're buying more Bitcoin. They're buying more Ethereum. Strategy, buying more Bitcoin only. They don't touch Ethereum, right? So, like, I think like they're manipulating it, trying to get as much cheap coin as possible before this thing takes off. So I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I think that the markets are being manipulated.
Yeah, no, that I've had that kind of viewpoint as well. Just because you can look on like Arkham and you can just see every single month those two. Speaking of World Liberty Finance and BlackRock specifically, they're going up in terms of how much they're buying.
Yep.
And to your point a little bit earlier, you were mentioning about privacy. I think that privacy pools are going to be coming over. A lot of people have been talking about this, but the PulseX deployer wallet was doing some testing on it. And right now, they're not live. I think they're live, but they're only on Sepolia testnet on ETH. But they had kind of brought up privacy pools coming, and potentially that can be integrated into Pulsechain as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that might be coming across once it goes live on mainnet, which may happen quite soon, because I believe they started on Optimism testnet back in 23, and then only recently they've gone on Sepolia. I think that will come about.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So the deployer wallet was actually playing around with the protocol.
Yes, yeah. Let me find the post, because I think it was I think it was Somi that brought it up But yeah, PulseX deployer dev was testing privacy pools in testnet. This was back in April of like 2024.
That's really interesting. I didn't realize that they were playing around with the privacy. The deployer dev is testing privacy pools and testnet.
Yeah, this was the Hocus Pocus guys that found it.
Okay.
And for people that don't know what privacy pools are or anything like that, it's kind of a more legal way to do a form of, and again, I'm going to hash this a little bit, but a more legal way to do Tornado Cash.
That'll be interesting. What's your thoughts on maybe Richard launching his own exchange, centralized exchange? You think that's something that is possible?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about that, and it's certainly a better, like him buying up an exchange. I can't remember which one was looking for a buyer. I wouldn't mind it, but again, like I think that the end goal, and maybe this is where the hexagons and kind of the diehards are different to my opinion, but I've always thought, like, why make it harder? Like, we should be on every exchange, not just like one or two, or like we
100%.
should be on every single one. Because if you actually want long term adoption of this thing, and if you actually want Pulsechain to take off, you want to see those massive big numbers. Like, we can go on talk about Sol or Sonic this season, or whatever
Yeah.
chain base as well. All of them have had like ease of access. That's like the number one thing, whether it be the wallet, whether it be on different exchanges and stuff, even Sui as well. It's on every single exchange, so it's so easy to get, and that should be the way down. We shouldn't be like gate kept, or I don't get why people boast about being gate kept. I get that the price had gone up like 10,000x on Hex, but that's the old style. Like, don't want to be gate kept. We want to be everywhere, and we don't want people to have to go down the hard route to buy the coin. I believe that we should be proper easy to get in and out. The growth of this particular ecosystem has to be bigger and better. Like, if you want to be able to sell loads and loads of money, loads of pulse in the future, you want to be on big exchanges where there's a lot of liquidity. It's not a case where you want to be like in some obscure part of the cryptoverse. You want that to expand out. So I'm a big believer in, like, bigger is better, and the more exchanges, the better it is for long-term success.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I've been preaching this for ages. I just I get ridiculed by the hexagons when I say it.
Well, I think it's because they've been gate kept, and they see it as like a positive, and I'm like, well, guys, let's evolve and let's mature and go forward, because there's only so much growth you can do in a small kind of echo chamber, before the cash runs out, or probably has already run out and dry up, and
Yeah,
then you're reliant on extracting from different chains and bringing across. So vampire attacking what Richard's kind of doing, vampire attacking Pulse, not Pulse, sorry, ETH, and then bringing the liquidity across, which is great. It's a good tactic if you want your brand and to grow and stuff like that. But in terms of long term success, proper long term success, there has to be ease of use. You should be able to pay with Apple Pay or like a credit card or whatever, and just buy Pulse straight away. And not just Pulse, but other tickers as well, PulseX and
yeah,
Ink, and all of the tickers, PTGC, everything. I think that would be awesome. That's when you start to get really good adoption. And some people will say, "Oh, yeah, that's the top signal," but let's talk about the next cycle and the next cycle after that. Otherwise, it just becomes a dead chain and no one uses it. You want this to compete with Solana, or if you want to compete with Ethereum, like a lot of people say they do, or you need those barriers to be knocked down, and you need to be able to buy it straight away off
yeah.
of your exchange.
And one centralized exchange ain't enough, because there's countries like there's the USA that are banned on, like, you can't even use a lot of centralized exchanges in the US. So it's like you got to be on multiple centralized exchanges to be able to service the whole world, right? So
Exactly that, and I don't think people realize, particularly the American audience, realize how good the OKX listing was.
yeah,
So us guys in Europe, we were using it, and OKX is the chief sponsor of Man City. That's like one of the
yeah,
biggest football clubs in the world. OKX listing, like, we were able to put limit orders in on Pulse when you guys weren't. So I'd be sitting there putting limit orders in, 20% lower than the price was at, and just sitting there and just being able to buy it immediately, or whenever the price went in range, or if I wanted to just do a one-click buy. And I think at the time as well, you could just pay with Apple Pay. So it's so simple. I was just like, right, cool. I want to buy, I don't know, a few grand's worth of Pulse. Apple Pay, boom, bought it straight away. So that ease of use is just like, I know people want to push the community solutions like OKX and stuff, but personally, not OKX, sorry, Coast. But personally, I don't like giving my data to
No.
some random geezer. I trust exchanges more than unfortunately, a guy in the community. Yeah, and I think he's a good actor, but I just prefer it that way.
No, yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, at the end of the day, data can always get hacked, and there's always data breaches, even in these large exchanges. But yeah, I think, especially when it comes to like large amounts of money, like people got to realize as well. There are people that are like wanting to come in with like $500,000, $1 million, and like they ain't going to Coast, and like they don't want to risk. Sometimes they don't want to risk that on the bridge, right? They, in their head, they might think like we ain't seeing that on the other side. So yeah, like yeah, man, I'm a big proponent. I'm not like someone that would like use a centralized exchange much, aside from just telling people to onboard from me. I wouldn't even use it myself probably, but unless I was trading, I wanted to put limit orders in. But I think it's very, very important, and I think that we have a look. I think we're in a good position with Mexi. I think maybe even OKX might even change their tone. But I think they won't until wherever the 5-6 days we have left of this like period where the SEC can appeal the decision. I don't think anyone's going to relist until that period is over. But yeah, I just think the community should not be burning bridges. Like some of the stuff that I've seen online where they're at in Mexi and at in OKX, I'm just like, bruh, like you can't expect these guys to relist you when you're talking like that. Like, stop burning bridges. Like, you speak, like, just ask them, hey, like, at them. Don't. I'm not saying you shouldn't be atting them and getting their attention, but come on, like, let's play nice. So, and that was the whole thing with
Yeah, agreed.
Mexi. That was the whole thing Mexi said to me. They're like, we understand why you guys are upset or the community is upset, but like, if you want to work with us, if you want us to like rebuild this relationship, like you can't be talking all this negative stuff. And I will take part of the blame for that, because I got the community going by letting them know that they're asking for more money. I shouldn't have said that. I should have done more digging and then maybe worded it a bit differently. But at the same time, I think I brought them back to the table because of that. Like, they got so much attention. They were getting so much engagement, positive and negative. Right? It wasn't just like it was mainly negative, to be honest. But that they literally messaged me to be like, let's get on a call. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise that we got that engagement and got them back on the table. But yeah, no, moving forward, I think when it comes to exchanges, especially ones that we were listed on, like, we can't be demanding and talking like that. Let's just be nice, and hopefully they relist us. I mean, I'm curious how OKX, how that happened, because like there wasn't a community like initiative to get listed on that, as far as I know, unless someone.
Yeah, I always thought it was the devs and potentially Richard behind it originally, because I'm pretty sure there was, I don't know what the fees were, but I'm sure that there was a decent fee to be on there. And I know that they can relist, but we would have to pay them a sum. I can't remember the fee. Some people have said it online. But again, I think that people should be pushing for wanting to get these things relisted, and trying to do it, because obviously we've got like 6 days and then we're out of the water when it comes to the SEC, like completely out of the water. And you want these, I would say, these pieces of infrastructure done before things take off. And a lot of people say, well, no, exchange listings are like a top signal. It's like, well, no, the price is down super low. No one really cares about it. No one is going to buy it. They start buying when the green candles start coming, and you want that infrastructure in place so that people can just buy immediately on their phone, right? Like, or whatever they're using. Like, once that's in play, you don't want them to go, all right, so how do I buy it now? Because I can see the price has gone up on one of the green bubbles, with the markets going up, and I see it's gone up, twice as much as, say, another token that they'd be interested in. How do I buy it? Oh, I got to buy some ETH, then I got to bridge it, then I got to swap it. then I got to do this, that, and the other. I got to have it. Yeah, you want that infrastructure in place so that they just buy it immediately. There's no fucking around. It's just one click, 2 clicks.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Because can you imagine how much easier it will be? You guys have all struggled through the freaking, what's happened, the SEC stuff going on. I mean, the actual chain itself was only running for like 2 months before the SEC case came about. Like, let's keep it all the way at 100. We want easy stuff now. All right, get that out of the way. No like dark cloud over our heads. Let's just be able to do this and promote it and push it, and not feeling a bit guilty because the SEC is still going after us. Now you can just go, hey, everything's done. It's sorted. Like everything legally is out the window now, and we've got the all clear, and now you can buy it on this platform or this platform. So